Hey guys, it's Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. Welcome to my live stream. Here we are on August 14th, Friday. It's 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm here to give you a heads up on an amazing sky watching opportunity that's going to present itself in mid-August and tomorrow, actually. This is going to be actually through the weekend, something that's really cool to watch. It's in the morning skies. And I want to show you what I'm talking about. And it's really all about Moon and Venus. This is an amazing opportunity that you can see two cool objects really close together. Now, this is something you don't need binoculars. You don't need telescopes. This is something that you will be visible just with the unaided eye. It doesn't get any easier than this. So this is something that you can take part of wherever you are around the world, as long as you've got clear skies. You can start watching, well, if you're a late night owl, you can start watching around local time, around 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, or you can wake up super early, about a half hour to an hour before your local sunrise on August 15th. We're talking about 15th. I'm looking at my calendar here. We're the 14th where I'm recording this, but on the 15th is when you can actually see this. So I've got my star chart set up here basically for the 15th of August. And what you'll see in the middle is, of course, the crescent moon. It's going to be an amazingly beautiful close encounter between Earth's moon and Venus. Now, these two objects are, of course, vastly different. The moon orbits the Earth. It is a fraction of the size of the Earth, 1/6 the size of the Earth. And then you have Venus, which is almost identical in size to Earth, yet it is much farther away. Yet it still shines as the brightest star-like object visible in our night skies. So what we've got here, and I'm going to zoom in, we're looking towards the eastern horizon. So imagine that. So you're waking up early. It's you can see a little bit of dawn on the lower left side there in the northeast. Little bit of something that where the sun will rise, a little glow, and then you've got halfway up the sky, approximately, a beautiful crescent moon, and paired up with it, very obviously, really eye-catching, is a brilliant white star. That brilliant white star, remember, that is what we affectionately call sometimes the morning star, but it isn't a star at all. It is our neighboring world, Venus. Now, Venus is really cool because it's just over 100 million kilometers away. 100 million kilometers away. I mean, that is so far away that light from Venus takes over 6 minutes to reach your eye. So just think about that. It takes 6 minutes, traveling at the speeds of 300,000 kilometers per second. That's the speed of light. It takes a few minutes to get here. While if you're talking about the moon is about 400,000 kilometers away from us on average. And that is still taking the light from the moon just over a second to reach your eye. So the distances in the cosmos are vast, and that's what you're seeing. We've got Small Optics. Hello from the UK. Nice of you to join us. Hey, Small Optics, great to see you. Glad you could join me. This is, I think, it's one of the more beautiful events that you can see out there. It's something that is very accessible. It's not relegated. You don't have to be in the countryside, somewhere in cottage country, out of the city. You can be in the city and see this. Really, the two big things is you want to have clear skies, or at least partly clear skies. And two, you want to have no obstruction in your view towards the eastern sky. So we've got here set up basically the view of the moon and Venus looking towards the east, pretty high up. Now, this depends. I'm located in Montreal, Canada, so I'm about mid-northern latitude, about halfway between the equator and the North Pole, 45th degree latitude. And so this depends on where you are, of how high, the height of this, and really the angle of the positioning of the moon and Venus. So if you're closer to the equator or you're in the southern hemisphere, this will change in its orientation compared to what you're seeing here in this broadcast. But nevertheless, the two objects, the moon and Venus, will be close together, visible across the world, and it's something that you should take advantage of. It's something amazing to see. Now, if you're out there, you may notice to the one side of Venus, there'll be two bright stars. If I zoom in on this, you'll see them identified. There we go. So these over here are Castor and Pollux. These represent the heads of the Gemini twins. So this is the Gemini constellation where all this action is happening. That's where the moon and Venus are located together. So right next to each other. And so just to one side of this beautiful pairing is going to be these bright stars, Pollux and Castor. Now, they're not going to be anywhere near as bright as Venus, but still quite evident in the dark skies, in the pre-dawn skies. Meanwhile, there is actually a challenge, an observing challenge that you can do with this moon and Venus, definitely, is if we move this magically, let me just zoom out a little bit, and I'll move it a few hours, an hour later. So this is about an hour, within an hour after sunrise, your local sunrise. What you'll notice, of course, let me zoom out some more. You will notice that the moon and Venus will have risen much higher in the sky. So as the coming sunrise is getting closer and closer, and even after sunrise, you'll notice that the pair will have risen higher in the sky. And what I'd love for you guys to do is to see if you can continue watching the pairing of moon and Venus even once daylight occurs. And the challenge there is how long into the day into the morning, can you watch this pairing? Now, the moon you should be able to watch for many hours, even well into the daylight hours, maybe by lunch, even through your lunchtime, local lunchtime. Much higher up, of course, in the southern sky. But you should be able to also see Venus with the eye if you know exactly where to look. So to help this, definitely having binoculars will help. If you point your binoculars to the moon and just look for that bright star near the moon, that is going to be Venus. And see if you can actually continue watching it once the pair is in daylight. That's really the challenge. Can you see the pairing in daylight? So check that out. It's something really cool to see, and it's a wonderful challenge to do. Now, if we just put this back so the skies are darker, so into the pre-dawn skies, again, this is set to August 15th, Saturday morning. What I'll also like to show you that, okay, so this is where the positioning of the moon and Venus are on Saturday, but if we look at it on Sunday, August 16th, the moon will be kind of sandwiched between Venus and the two stars of Gemini. So you'll see the two right there. There's Castor and Pollux, and the moon will be together in the skies, sort of like sandwiched right between. So that's Sunday, August 16th, and then August 17th, the moon will have sunk right below the Castor and Pollux pairing. So you'll have a pretty cool set of nights. So Saturday, the moon is next to Venus. Sunday, sandwiched between the Gemini twins and Venus. And then, of course, we have on Monday, you have the moon just kind of sunk right below the pair, farther away. But still, you'll know where Venus is and where the moon is. And of course, the moon will be really razor thin by Monday, August 17th. So it's some really cool things to see. Now, if we head back to Saturday morning, there's one more really cool thing on August 15th in the pre-dawn skies that you can actually see. And that I'm going to kind of center the pair of the moon Venus, and I'm going to zoom in until we get to see this little guy over here. Now, right above in that little circle represents M35. M35, Messier 35, is a open star cluster. And it's one of the brighter open star clusters, a very cool object to see through binoculars and telescopes. If you watch this pair about an hour and a half before local sunrise, you'll easily find it using the moon and a pair of binoculars, the moon will be your guidepost for finding this deep sky object. What's cool about M35 is that it is 3,000 light years away. This group of stars, and I'll show you here very quickly a really nice, beautiful photograph that this is just incredible. Take a look at that. So that big clustering of diamonds, imagine, is over 3,000 light years away. So when you're looking at this cluster through binoculars, you're actually looking at something that's 3,000 light years away. So it's taken light 3 millennia to reach your eye. So we're looking back in time as the star cluster looked like 3,000 years ago. And of course, probably the stars are pretty much looking the same, since the lifetime of stars are measured in hundreds of millions or billions of years usually. And this is probably a younger grouping of stars that will eventually wander away apart from each other. And that's what most open clusters are. They're mostly young or middle-aged stars slowly wandering away from each other. But this is called M35, Messier 35, named after Charles Messier, who was this really avid comet hunter in the 17th century. And he picked out a lot of objects that he wanted to basically map pin down in his night sky map that he thought originally might have been a comet, and he just wanted to mark these down as remarkable objects that he has found. And there's actually a list of 110 Messier objects. They're kind of the cornerstone of sky watchers everywhere. Backyard stargazers love the Messier list, and this is number 35, this open cluster. Really very cool object to see. Let's see if we can go back. And so really looking at this object is very, very nice. It's because it's just so bright through binoculars and telescopes. And the moon on Saturday morning, August 15th, will act as a wonderful guidepost in tracking it down. Now, even once the moon moves away, I mean, even if we move to Sunday, I should say, Sunday, August 16th, or even beyond, once the moon is out of the way, what's interesting is, of course, Venus is still a wonderful guidepost too. So you have that brilliant star of Venus in Gemini constellation, really acting as also a wonderful guidepost in finding M35, a really brilliant open cluster. If you're new to astronomy, you may have a new binocular, or maybe you have a new telescope you just purchased. This is a great opportunity to use a bright object in the sky that's really easy to see with the naked eye and use it as a guidepost for finding a truly deep sky object. Deep sky objects are things beyond the solar system, and this is a great opportunity to do that. Why don't you try? It's something that you can easily do. Of course, you got to be an early bird with this one, but this concept will work for you continuously, and you can find lots of things. There's hundreds and hundreds of objects like this, deep sky objects, that you can see. There's open star clusters, globular clusters, all kinds of nebulae, which are basically gas and dust clouds that you can see across the entire night sky. It doesn't matter if you're in the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, what continent you are, there is stuff happening all over the sky, and bright objects can act as a wonderful guidepost. And Venus here with M35 could be a really good way to kind of get your sea legs, so to say, with your new telescope and binoculars, of how to navigate the night sky. So a little trick there. Now, there's one more thing I wanted to mention before I go, is that you'll notice that to the right, I'm going to set this back to Saturday, August 15th. What you'll notice in the sky, just to the other side, so we had the Gemini twins on one side of the pairing of the moon and Venus, but on the other side of the moon and Venus is another bright star called Betelgeuse. Orange star, it's the lead star in the constellation Orion, the Hunter, which is normally visible in the evening skies in wintertime in the northern hemisphere. It's a traditional wintertime constellation. This time of the year, in August, it's visible in the pre-dawn skies in the northern hemisphere. And so what's really cool here is that you've got Betelgeuse so visible next to Venus. And of course, Betelgeuse's claim to fame of recent months, of course, is dealing with the dimming that's been observed. So a little backstory for you guys that might not be familiar, but Betelgeuse is the 25th brightest star in the sky. In the entire sky, it's one of the brightest ones, very visible to the naked eye. Even if you're in the city, of a large city, you can see Betelgeuse. It just sticks out and has a distinctive orange color. That's because it's what we call a red giant. A red giant star is a massive star. Let me see if I can show you here what I mean by that. We're going to see if we can go here. This is the Hubble Space Telescope, and here's a great picture, sort of an animation of showing you what the true size of Betelgeuse is. Betelgeuse is a monster. It's a bloated star nearing very near the end of its life. We think it will go supernova, which means it will explode one day. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen 100,000 years from now. We simply don't know. But that's a blink of an eye in astronomical terms when we're talking about 100,000 years. So with that said, in the last few months, from December 2019 through February of this year, there was this dimming of Betelgeuse. And I know February, my gosh, that seems like light years away, especially because of the pandemic and all the crazy stuff happening around the world. But believe it or not, yeah, just a few months ago, the big buzz in the astronomical community was what's going on with Betelgeuse? Could it actually be, undergoing its final death throes to become a supernova, to actually explode? And by the way, when that does happen, it's not a question of if it will happen. We know that Betelgeuse will explode. It will be the brightest star in the entire sky. It may even battle with brightness with the moon. You might even be able to read at night for a few weeks when it's so bright in our skies. And it's going to be incredible. And here it shows in this graphic how big it is. The edge of Betelgeuse, if we would replace our sun with Betelgeuse, would reach out to the orbit of Jupiter. Mars, Earth, Venus, the entire inner solar system would be in the belly of this monster. Incredible to think of the sheer size. And because of that, by the way, that background little blurry image that you're seeing is an actual photograph of Betelgeuse. That is what it actually looks like. It's so large despite its distance. And by the way, it's about 725 light years away from us. Despite its sheer distance, we can still start to begin to resolve the outer atmosphere, the bloated version of a star here. We can actually see it. We can actually see some features on it, which is incredible visually. And so it's not just a pinpoint of light like most stars are through telescopes. This one, the largest telescopes, can resolve a little bit of it. But what's interesting, what's happened this week, and why I'm bringing this up, is that the Hubble Space Telescope made an announcement here on the Hubble website. What's really cool is that they've got the latest news that says Hubble finds that Betelgeuse is mysteriously dimming. Its mysterious dimming is due to a traumatic outburst. So we feel that dimming that happened, that visibly was very evident in around New Year's, was caused by solar activity on the surface of this giant star. So what you're seeing here is a sequence of artist simulations based on what the Hubble data is showing us. So what it looks like happened is that there was a stirring in the upper atmosphere. There, some material seemed to bubble up in the outer atmosphere. This was noticed back in October, November. And then by December, this thing exploded onto the surface of this material, this hot plasma, basically super hot gas, exploded into space off the surface of Betelgeuse. And as it did, which is very interesting, it reached the cold outer space, and this super hot plasma actually converted into dust, dark material. And it's this cloud of dark material that seemed to head in the direction of Earth, and that blocked the view of Betelgeuse. And that's what caused the dimming of Betelgeuse. As you can see in this artist illustration provided with the press release that NASA put out for the Hubble Space Telescope, shows us what we think really the view from Earth was because this cloud that was belched off of Betelgeuse ended up heading out into space in the direction of Earth. So from our line of sight, this is what we saw. This is what we are seeing, and that's why there was this dimming. And then once that cloud moved off, the surface of, from our point of view, surface of Betelgeuse's brightness has gone back up to what it originally was. But we think more will come. And this is a wonderful explanation. It's amazing what science is. It's amazing that we have this discovery machine we call the Hubble Space Telescope that has shown us this this sequence of events, finally, of what may have happened to Betelgeuse. And of course, the other reason I'm bringing this up is because, guess what? That's what you can see. You can see Betelgeuse with your eye. This wonderful scientific discovery that a Hubble Space Telescope has made is really opened our knowledge more so about this wonderful star, a star with a funny name, Betelgeuse, that we admire so much. We all see it in our skies, no matter where we are around the world. The vast majority of population can see this star clearly. And it's amazing that we understand a little bit about its life history now, a snapshot of this 725 light year distant star. We've revealed some information. And guess what? You can go outside in the morning and not only see Venus and the moon, beautiful pairing together, you can actually look at Betelgeuse yourself and just ponder on this cosmic awe and wonder of how amazing this monster star is. And then it's on the verge of being a supernova, and you can see it for yourself in the skies above. So that's what I wanted to share. I hope you guys like that. If you did, please do like this video, and please do hit that subscribe button and subscribe, and and notification as well, so you get notified on my next video. I hope you enjoyed this. Please go out if you can, view this wonderful observing event. And until next time, of course, I wish all of you guys clear skies. Bye-bye.